trying to find a stylist in a pandemic, in a new city, not knowing nobody. Like, what the? Y'all know I love stories. Like, I will tell you a good story. I can tell you a good story. This picture that I had posted was basically a hairstyle that I asked for. So, okay, the backstory was I moved to LA, and you know how you know if you've never moved before or whatever. So basically you got to pretty much start from the ground up when it comes to like meeting people, knowing your hairstylist, your nail tech, your brow lady, your lash lady, your wax lady, your braids. You have a braider, and then you have a stylist. Somebody who braids your hair and somebody who styles your hair or whatever. Sometimes I do want to, you know, go to different stylists to give me a different look, just because, you know, it's everybody does hair differently, or somebody does something that you don't do, or everybody does things differently. So you might like the way that somebody does something as opposed to the way that you do it. Same with makeup. Like, when I get married, I probably will have another artist do my makeup, just depending on how I feel or how I want it to look, you know. Yeah, it's the same type of swing. When I moved, I didn't have any of that. No wax lady, no brow lady, no lash girl, no nail tech, no stylist, no braider, like nobody. Like, you're starting from the ground up. You're starting from scratch at this point. Okay, well, it can't be too hard to find like a braider because, you know, I'm in LA. People braid, people do everything out here. It's just a matter of finding of somebody who's good. And you know how that can be. Like, you got to go through trials and tribulations, period, because it, you know, you're not going to know somebody's work. And that's another thing. Like, a lot of people, I feel like they'll show you that like their work will look one way on the internet, and then when you go to them, it looks completely different. So pretty much I found her. Where did I find her at? I think I found her on, no. Okay, so y'all know I work, you know, I work outside. I'm a hostess, so I'm at a host stand and pretty much at a restaurant. And so pretty much this lady was walking past and one day, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm looking for a braider. Like, she had these long braids and they were like ombre. They had it was like ombre into like a grayish blonde type of color. And I was like, oh my god, like, they were really neat. They were so neat to the point that they looked knotless, but they weren't knotless. They were just regular braids. So I was like, oh my god, like, who did your braids? I love them. They look so good. I just moved out here and I'm looking for a braider, somebody to braid my hair. And so she was like, oh, I would, mind you, like, her hair looked so good. It looked like she had maybe had it in for like a couple of weeks. So I was like, you know, who did your hair or whatever? And she was just telling me like, oh, I've had this in a while. And she was like, this has been in my hair at least 2 or 3 months. So I'm like, what? Like, her hair looked bomb. It looked good. It looked like she hadn't had it in over a month. So I was like, yeah, can you give me the girl's Instagram? So she was like, well, she doesn't have Instagram, but she was like, she doesn't have Instagram, but I can give you her phone number. And I said, okay, cool. Like, at this point, I'm kind of like desperate because I'm like, I really want some braids. These were the braids that I had. I literally had them. I probably had them a good 2 weeks, a good solid 2 weeks, because I took them out, and you'll see why. But so yeah, I don't even think I posted maybe a couple pictures with them, but they were up. I didn't have them down because they weren't cute at all. It wasn't what I asked for, clearly. And yeah, I just didn't like it. I couldn't deal with it. It was just not what I wanted. So she was like, yeah, she doesn't have, so she gave me her number. I ended up contacting the girl, and I got in contact with her, and I was like, hey, you know, I just moved out here. I've been looking for, oops, not that. I was like, hey, I just moved out here. I'm looking for a braider. And then I sent her the style. I sent her this style, and I said, you know, I'm kind of looking for something along the lines of this. Like, I wanted to look almost knotless. I like my braids really, really small and fine because I don't have edges. So I don't want, I find that the bigger that they are, first of all, they don't last as long. The bigger your braids are, they don't last as long. And I like them to be smaller and finer because I look bald headed already. I'm already like, I don't have edges, so if I get them big, then it's gonna look, I'm gonna look even more bald. So yeah, I like them fine, small. I like them to look neat, whatever, whatever. Pretty much, I wanted them exactly how they were in the picture that I sent her. So she was like, I sent her that picture. She was like, okay, gave me her price. She said, and that's another thing I noticed, like, out here with the braiders, they don't charge you like what I was paying on the East Coast. Like, I'll pay for my braids. My braids, I was paying like an easy $300-400 for some braids on the East Coast. Out here, I think how much did she charge me for those braids? She charged me $250. So I was like, bet I will do that. I can do that. Cool. So this was in July or August. It was in August. So it was hot as hell. It was hot. Hotter than hot. All right. So I get to her house. You know, I like to start first of all, I like to start my hair early because I already know how long it's gonna take, just because my braids are small. I like them small. I like them long, you know, and yeah, I already know it's gonna take a long time because I get braids all the time. So I get to her house at like, she wanted to start at like 9. And for me, somebody who gets braids often, that's pretty late in the morning to be starting at. Like, I like to start at like 6-7 o'clock the latest. I like to be starting my braids, unless you a fast braider. Like, if you're a fast braider, that's different. Like, you know what I'm saying, you can get me in and out. I expect to sit a solid 10 hours, but nothing more than 10. Like, 10 is kind of pushing it for me, just because, yeah, like, that's a long time to be sitting all day. All right, so I get to her house. She lives in like an apartment or whatever. You know, she's doing it from home, obviously. And I get to her house. I'm like, okay, she's cool. You know, I'm making like little conversation with her, just like, you know, talking to her or whatever. And so the hair that I used, I'm going to link the hair in the description box so that you can see like what type of hair I bought. But so basically, she quoted me the price that she quoted me. I brought my own hair, and I wanted it. So I bought the passion twist hair, and I wanted, basically, I told her I wanted passion braids. That's it, like the passion braids. But I gave her that picture as a reference so that she could see like the type of like vibe that I'm going for with this look. So she said, yeah, you know, that was another reason that it was kind of hard to find somebody, because a lot of people don't do passion braids. A lot of people don't know how to do passion braids, or they don't know like the best hair to use when it comes to passion braids. So obviously I had did some research. I had did some looking around to see like what would be the best hair to use for passion braids. And I came across this hair on Amazon that it's basically passion twist, but you just braid it in. And so it's ombre. So I wanted it to be like an ombre, you know, an ombre type of look, the goldish brown blonde on the ends. So once she opened the hair up, because that was her thing, she was like, she uses this specific type of hair, and when she does the switch, when she does the braids, she uses a specific type of hair. So when she opened it, she was like, you know, oh, the hair feels good. It feels like it's going to be good to work with. And I said, cool, like, that's good. Like, I love to hear it. Let's go. So she starts doing my hair or whatever, and after she did like the first couple of rows, okay, let me back up. Let me rewind. So when I got there, you know, I was just kind of like peeping her place, no shade or whatever. Like, you know, you do it, like you peep the place, you want to see like, okay, like I'm gonna be sitting here pretty much all day. Like, what's your house look like? Is your house clean? Is it dirty? Like, do I not need to hold on to my purse? Like, is something gonna crawl in it? First and foremost, the first thing I noticed is, well, the first thing that she pointed out to me that I wish that she had told me before I got there was that she didn't have air. She didn't have AC. So, and it's a hot August day. Now, the weather in LA is usually like, it's like usually like cool in the morning, warm, hot as fuck during the day, and then at night it gets cold again. So so from the morning time, when she started like around 9, it was like, it wasn't hot, it was cool, you know, it was nice. She had the window open, so it was like air was flowing through, but it was still like, as the day went on, it started to get warmer and warmer, and I noticed it. And I was like sitting, And I'm like, okay, like it's hot. She don't got no air. That was the first thing she pointed out to me. She was like, I don't have no air, like my air broke or whatever. And I'm like, wait, why you didn't tell me this before I came over here that your air broke? Because that's a deal breaker for me. Like, that's something you should tell somebody, like, oh, my air broke, or I don't have air, or I only have a fan, or, you know, do you want me to do it somewhere else, or I can come to you, or whatever. Like, give me options, but tell me that you don't have air. So that was the first thing. So I'm like, all right, as the day is starting to go on, I don't know what sis was doing, okay? I don't know what sis was doing because she braids slower than molasses. This is the longest that I've ever sat to get my braids done. So as the day goes on, my contour is definitely crooked. As the day goes on, it's starting to get hotter and hotter. She's moving slower and slower. So she did the first 2 rows in the back and she was like, oh, I really like this hair. So I'm like, okay, cool. That gives me hope. Like, okay, it's going to be nice. It's going to look good because she says she likes the hair. So she can't blame the hair. Because you know how some people, like, they'll like blame the hair for that being the reason that it's jacked up or whatever. They'll find any excuse but to say that they messed up your hair. So she shows me a couple of the braids and she like pulled them over my shoulder and was like, so this is what the end is going to look like. And I don't know if you've seen like passion braids, but passion braids, like, you braid it to the end, but the hair itself is going to curl up because it's the texture of the hair. She showed me the braids and it was like almost like braided to the end, but not really. And I thought about it and I was like, in the picture, I guess the end of the hair isn't like braided all the way down, but it's still wavy to the point where it looks good. So in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I do hair, and if I'm doing somebody's hair and I'm telling them like what I think will look good, I'm gonna trust like that. I'm gonna hope that they trust that what I'm saying is right because they do this. Like, this is what they do. So with her, she was just like, yeah, like, I'm gonna probably, like, she was like, I'm gonna leave it out, or I'm gonna leave it like the ends. This is what the ends is gonna look like because I don't know. In my mind, I'm like, I should have asked her to show me a picture of her doing. I should have asked her to show me a picture of her passion braids so that I could see how she actually does it. So that way, maybe I would have had more time to like switch up the style, you know. But I didn't even think to ask her like, hey, do you have a picture of your most recent passion braids? Because like, this isn't a style that a lot of people do. And so like, yeah. So anyways, I was just like, all right, well, okay, we'll just see how it looks. Hours are going by. She's doing my hair. We talking, we vibing. She left out the room a couple of times and it didn't dawn on me to like look, because I usually like to look at my hair like after, like when everything's done. I'm not one of those people that'll go to the bathroom and like look at my hair, which now I am. Now, after this experience, I'm definitely going to be that person that like, can I see what my hair is looking like? Because yeah, I don't have time to be sitting all day for it to look the way that it did. Long story longer. I'm sitting. Hours and hours and hours is going on. I got there at 9 o'clock. I'm getting hot. I'm getting irritated. I'm getting annoyed because I'm hot. You don't have no air. It's hot. I'm hot. I'm uncomfortable. I'm tired of sitting. I'm hungry. I hadn't had no food. So I'm like, all right, like, how much more we got to go? Because sis, now it's going on like 8 o'clock. I'm thinking in my mind, like, I'm going to be done by maybe like 8 o'clock. Like, in my mind, I'm like, the way that it's going, like, no, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Honestly, I should have been done like around 6 or 7. That's like a solid amount of hours that it usually would take for that type of hairstyle and that length. The length, the hair, the braided hair was like 18, it was 18 inches. The braided hair was 18 inches. And the braids were, you know, they were small, but I could see if they were long. They weren't really that long. It was only 18 inches. 7 o'clock goes by, 8 o'clock goes by, 9 o'clock goes by. And at this point, I'm pissed because I'm like, I've been sitting here all day. I haven't seen my hair. I'm like hungry. I'm more so mad because I'm hungry and you don't have no AC. I'm mad because you don't have no damn AC. You knew you didn't have no AC. You didn't tell me you didn't have AC. You waited till I got here And then you know damn well how it is here, like how the weather can be. So after 9 o'clock, I'm like, okay, like what's how much longer you got to go, sis? Cause I got to go and I'm hungry and I'm yeah, like what's going on? Finally, she finished after what seems like all day. Literally, it was all day. Do you ever be so like hungry, like to the point where you just be lashing out? You don't even be caring because you just be so hungry, like to the point where it just be like, I don't even care. I don't care nothing about what you talking about. Like I'm literally hungry. So anyway, so she finally finished and she was like, you know, finishing up with everything. She didn't dip my hair, which I thought was weird. Like I'm like, even though it's this type of style, if you're leaving the ends out, like why wouldn't you dip my hair? Like you're supposed to dip it in hot water so that the hair will kind of like, you know, fall into its natural state. It'll take away some of the frizz, tame the hair a little bit, you know, and give it a nice polished look. So she didn't dip my hair. Finally, she finished. I look at it and she shows me like a mirror literally like this big. The mirror is literally like this big. And so I'm looking at my hair and these are the pictures. So these are the pictures of my hair from that night. And I'm looking and I'm like, I literally just got silent. Like I was just silent. The first thing that came out of my mouth, I was just like, oh. Like I'm looking at my hair, I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like looking at the ends. Like I couldn't even rake my hands through my hair. The braids, literally the braids stopped maybe right here, and all of this was left out. So the braids, imagine your braids stopping right here, and then the rest of the hair is just braided hair. It's out, it's curly, it's bushy, it's thick, it's full because the braids are small. And like it looks like literally I look like a bear. I look like a bear. It was hair all like the hair is big, it's fluffy, it's voluminous, it's big, it's full. So I'm like the hair, it pretty much looked like I had this much braid and the rest was just hair left out. Pretty much like braiding hair. Imagine braiding your hair like halfway and then leaving it all, just leaving it out. And it's braiding hair. And you know how braiding hair is like, it's like not tameable unless it's human hair. I literally said, this is interesting. And then I started to gather my stuff. I started to get my stuff. At this point, I'm pissed. I've been sitting all day. You don't have air. My hair looks like shit. It doesn't look like what I asked for. Like, this is a complete disaster. And she could tell I didn't like it. Like, she knew what the vibe was. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, it was horrible, y'all. Just imagine sitting that long in the heat. You're hungry. It's been like 12 hours plus. At this point, it's going on 13 hours that I've been in the chair. I haven't ate, haven't peed. It's hot. And now my hair it looks like shit. At least let me sit that long and then my hair look bomb. Like my hair be bomb. If my hair looks bomb as fuck and I sat that long, I'm not gonna be too bad. I'm gonna be hungry, I'm gonna be irritated, but I'm not gonna be pissed because I know my hair look good. And I knew I sat for that amount of time and it was actually worth it. But no, I sat that long. It was hot. I was hungry. And then my hair looked like trash on top of it. I felt like if I said something, I was going to come out of character. I was going to, you know, be really nasty. And that's not my character. And I knew because I was hungry, I was frustrated that if I said something, it may have went another way. I didn't want to be nasty. So I was like, I was just like, this is interesting. And she was just like, you know, just telling me like, yeah, like you can put these products on it to keep the hair from frizzing and all of this. And in my mind, I'm just like, but sis, this don't look like nothing like the picture. Like this don't look like this at all. Like, why did you think this was okay to leave this much hair out? Like, it looks crazy. I was so pissed. I was texting my friend like, because he was actually looking for a braider as well. And he went, what's crazy is Jamel went to her a couple days before I did, and he loved his hair. He loved his hair. He got some like little braids or whatever. But he was like, even his braids took a long time, and he only got some short, like some simple stuff. Like he didn't even get like a full head of braids. He a guy, so he didn't need too much. Like, but he was like, it took a long time. And I was like, well, you ain't tell me that she didn't have no air. Like, that would have been essential to know, because that would have changed the game up. I probably wouldn't have got my hair done by her. I'm not going nowhere. If you don't have no air, and we in Southern California, you don't have no air, baby, that's a game changer, because I'm not going to come to you. At that point, it's given I'm going to go somewhere else, or you going to have to come to me, or we going to switch it up. He was like, I guess he went to her, like, because he wasn't there all day, like, he wasn't bothered by it, or it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I guess he was in and out pretty much, but she still took a long time on the little bit that he did get done. I was banking my experience off of him, honestly, because when I found her, I sent him to her, and I was like, let me know how she is, because I'm going to her, like, on Saturday. He went to her on Thursday. I went to her on Saturday. So I was just like, let me know, like, what you think. And he loved his hair, so I was just like, okay, cool. Like, the first thing he sent me when he got out was, she's bomb. So I'm like, blessed. Like, I found somebody. I found a good braider, like, who's gonna get me together. So yeah, he was like, she was bomb. So I was like, okay, cool. I don't got nothing to worry about. He ain't tell me nothing like all absurd or crazy. So I'm expecting to have the same type of experience. So he's texting me and just like, hey, like, let me see your hair. And I'm like, I'm still here. I've been here since 9 o'clock, and it's going on 10 o'clock at night, and I'm still here. Basically, I got my stuff. I left pissed. I went to go get something to eat, because I was like, let me first eat and calm down, and then I'll revisit this. Like, I'm gonna revisit this. Meanwhile, I FaceTime my best friend, and was just like, bitch, I cannot. And I really wasn't even trying to show him. Like, I had my hood on my head. I had a hood on, or no, I put my hair back in my bonnet. Like, I put my bonnet on. I was like, I'm really not trying to show you. And he was just like, let me see, Liz. Like, it can't be that bad. And his reaction, you know, when you show somebody like something, and their reaction, or you tell somebody something, you show somebody something, and their reaction makes it worse. Their reaction actually pisses you off more than you was already pissed. You was already mad. You was already feeling away. And then their reaction just takes you over the edge. So I was like, no, Devin, I'm not trying to show you my hair. Like, it looks crazy. Like, I told him the whole thing. I told him how I was there all day. He was like, I'm just more pissed off that you was there all day and your hair looks like that. Like, what was she doing? Like, she didn't even braid all of the hair. So why did it take 1,800 hours? Why did it take this long and you didn't even braid all my hair, sis? But sis, you barely braided my hair. Like, you braided it halfway and the rest of my shit was out. Like, it looked crazy. It looked crazy. Like, I was so pissed. He sees my hair and his mouth is just like, he was just like, what is happening? And I was like, yes, Devin, like, I sat this long, and this is what my hair looked like. My hair looks crazy. And he was like, I'm pissed. Like, I'm pissed for you. Like, he is pissed off. Like, I'm just like, yo, like, I'm so mad. Like, you know, you just be mad. And so then I get my food. Then my food is cold. Like, my fries is cold. I went to Earl's on Crenshaw. If y'all know, Earl's on Crenshaw they have like plant-based veggies, burgers, and plant-based whatever. They got plant-based food or whatever. So I got like a veggie burger and some fries. My fries was cold. The burger was like small. It really, like, I was just pissed off. So I'm like, ugh. On top, to add insult to injury, like, now my food is cold. My food is trash. Like, I'm irritated. He's pretty much just making it worse. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe your hair looked like that, da 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 da. Like, why did it take this long? Like, she didn't even braid it all the way to the end. Like, I'm just like, I know, like, what should I do? So he was just like, honestly, I don't know why you left like that. Like, you shouldn't have left. And I'm like, well, you know, me being a hairstylist, like, me as a hairstylist, I'm always open and willing to, you know what I'm saying, fix whatever somebody don't like. Like, if I do your hair and you don't like it, tell me so that I can fix it, or I can change it, or I can give you some money back or something. Like, let me just try to, like, do something. But I was so mad that I just left. Like, I was just like, I'll deal with this later. Like, I need to eat something, or else I'm gonna bite this lady's head off. So I let the night go by. I was just like FaceTiming all my friends and just like was pissed off and was just like, this is horrible. Like, I don't know what is going on. Like, this is terrible. So pretty much they all was just like, what the hell? Like, what is happening? Like, what was sis back there doing? Like, this don't look nothing like the picture. This looks nothing like the picture. So I'm just like getting more pissed off. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. So the next day comes and I pretty much text her and I was just like, hey, like, I'm really unhappy with my hair. Like, this doesn't look anything like what I asked for. Like, I sent her the picture, the inspiration pictures of what I wanted. And then I sent her the picture that I posted. Pretty much what I asked for versus what I got. I didn't get what I asked for and I'm not happy. Like, and at this point, I don't want you to touch my hair. So her response, she texted me back and was just like, hey, I'm sorry you don't like it. Like, I apologize. Why don't you come back and we could see what we could do? No. No. Bitch. I just sat for 15 plus hours to get this done with no heat, no AC. Do you think I want to come back to your house? You don't have AC. I just sat this long. Like, no. And my hair hurt because it's braids. So I don't want you to touch my hair. I don't want you to do nothing. Like, I just want you to give me my money back at this point. So I was just like, hey, like, you know, honestly, I don't want you to touch my hair. Like, that's just that on that. I don't want you to touch it. Like, my hair hurts. This looks like my hair looks terrible. It doesn't look anything like what I asked for. And, you know, yeah, like, respectfully. Like, I said it respectfully because obviously, like, I'm not a nasty person. I'm not hateful, and I'm a stylist myself. So, you know what I'm saying? I know what it does to somebody when they don't like their hair, but I'm also gonna be willing to try and fix it. But like she was willing and able to fix it, but I was just like, yeah, nah, yeah, I just want like my money back, like a partial refund. I was like, because I respect your time, but honestly, that's not what I asked for, so I would like a refund. So she was like, you know, I don't want to lose you as a client or whatever, because obviously I had brought her, before me even getting my hair done, I had brought her a client, which was Jamel. Like, I brought her a whole client before I even got my hair done. So she was just like, you know, I don't want to lose you as a client. I'll give you a partial refund back, and I'll give you 50% off your next braided style. So I was like, you had me at partial refund. So yeah, I don't know if I'll ever go back to her, just because, like, honestly, she did a really good job. Like, the braids itself, they were really, really neat. They were very neat. They were proportioned. They looked good, but it just wasn't what I asked for. And then the ends, it just turned me off. Like, the whole experience turned me off, and I was just like, you know what? I don't think I'll be back, honestly. Like, if I do go back, I'm gonna just get like a real simple, like, you maybe can do my braids for when I put my wig on. Like, it's gonna be given that. It's not gonna be given nothing like no extravagant passion braids, nothing extravagant. It's just gonna be some real simple, like, I just want some box braids, or I just need some braids because I'm about to put my wig on. Because yeah, honestly, like, she did a good job. Like, I'm not going to bash her and say that she didn't do a good job. She just didn't do what I asked for. Like, the braids were neat, they were tight, they were small, it was all of that, but it just wasn't what I asked for. So I was really pissed off. I pretty much wasted $250 only for you to not do what I asked for. Now I have I spent money on the hair. I bought the hair. I spent money on the hair. I sat for that long. It was just a bad experience. My back was sweating in the chair. Like, I'm over it. At this point, I'm just put my wig on. I hadn't worn a wig all year, y'all. Like, I had the goddess locks. I had the goddess locks for like 6 months. I had those goddess locks in for like 6 months. Then what did I have? Oh, I had the little ponytail. And then, yeah, and then I went and got the braids. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just put my wig on because I'm over it. And that was how that experience went. It was terrible. She ain't had no Instagram, and I forgot to even ask her for a picture of her passion braids. Y'all, it was horrible. I ended up taking it out. Like, I kept it in for maybe 2 weeks because my best friend was just like, at least keep it in for like a solid week so you can feel like you didn't just waste your money. But either way, I wasted my money because I had to spend money on the hair, and then I took the hair straight out like 2 weeks later. It wasn't even a whole 2 weeks. I think I kept it in for a good week and some change because I was just like, this is just not cute. And I ended up braiding the hair all the way down. So then, yeah, then I had to waste more of my time because I had to go through, braid each braid down. I just braided it all the way to the, I just ended up braiding it all the way to the end. From what she left out, I ended up just braiding it all the way down because I was like, I'm not walking around like this. Like, this is just crazy. And I soaked the braids. So I braided it all the way down. I soaked the braids, and what else? And then they started to look a little bit better. Like, it started to look better. After I did that, it started to look a little bit better. And so I was like, all right, like, this is doable, but it's going to be giving it a bun. I'm not wearing it down because this is not cute. Like, I'll wear it in a bun, and that's just going to be it. So, yeah, you guys, that's pretty much it for my horror story. My first hair horror story in LA. And honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do as far as a braider. I'm just going to keep looking, and I think I'm going to focus on somebody who definitely already has like their page established so I could see more of their work. Because I think that was another thing when I had asked her about her work, or if she had pictures. She showed me pictures that weren't passion braids, so I didn't really see what her work looked like. But that's neither here nor there. Honestly, I'm just like so glad that I'm just, yeah, next time I'm just gonna find somebody who I can actually visually see their work. And yeah, although this experience it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to, I'm not downing her. I'm not, saying that she doesn't do good work, or I'm just saying I didn't like what I received, and what I asked for, I did not get. So I don't want anybody, don't take anything from this. Yeah, it's just my personal experience with her. I'm not saying that she didn't know how to do hair. I'm not saying that she can't do hair. I'm just saying that what I got wasn't what I asked for. That's just how that went. So if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, like this video, follow me on my socials at Liz Glams, and yeah.